This poem is called Muckraker, and it has an epigraph from Thomas Wyatt. And I don't think I'm going to have to tell you a whole lot about this. Muckraker. As one in doubt, this is my saying, have I displeased you in anything? That greasy letter into which my legs entered, its tone conspiratorial as his wink, a linguistic wriggling of the eyebrows, a heh. It may as well have appeared before my door, chafing the air with the stiff noise of its cheap leather jacket. Am I not chagrined by his proposition to put it all behind us and begin again as friends? How do I reply? And how shall I contend with the fact, reader, that this matter cannot mean much to you, and that I, as author, am required to consider how to tell this tale in a manner that will entertain you, despite having never met you, and having no way of knowing how to affect you, get you to let me touch you all over, kiss your lips, then tongue your mouth open, move my mouth down your neck to the valley of your chest, pluck buttons off you with my teeth? I have thought of this for a great long time. I have sat here hunched, feeling sick. I have paced rugs bare. Why should you care? His door opened. Cells spilled out my heart's bucket, flopped their silvers across a floor. He was too poor to enter a store, too poor to pay postage for a letter, so poor he'd have stolen crumbs from a mouse, so poor he'd have sold his cadaver if he could. Yet consider the man. His deep voice began to work away at my inhibitions like sandpaper. Before I knew it, I'd moved right into him, wiped the eyes of windows clear, mended the tears in his screens, made our beds with sheets so icy clean. But you do not want me to give too much away. What fun would that be? Here, as with any tale, the moral's like a molar, set far back in the mouth of the story. Open wider, let me stick my pliers in, wrench it out. Left unattended, anything's prone to spoil, go bad, turn rotten, sink into itself, stink up the whole house. And how shall I begin to make my account? Dig through the junk heap. Start small. He grew over me calmly as a vine climbs a trellis. Your nightgown is unbecoming. A few small terrorisms, eyes wide at my wince, incredulous. You thought I'd hit you? Loom large. His question was rhetorical. You have a disease. Or aim dead center and toss my dart. Tell it plain, an expensive watch, rent checks, designer sunglasses, a ring, a student named Nadine, Prozac visa, Harold Bloom, Jim Beam. But this is not the stuff of poesy, is it? Shall I shut up and return to my book? Details, only details can raise this story's sail. Money's one thing, but this is another poverty altogether. We had an agreement, pills plucked daily from a dial, lawns in August, plot after plot of green, the warm hiss of sprinklers, arching rainbows, children's delighted screams. It was a fault to desire these things. Junk heap. Wrenched a cumbersome thing out, heavy and foul as a discarded couch, his omission. Hadn't I known his books were his children? Adding up all the hours I'd breathed beside him, years handed over as if on a platter, it is simply too much, all that while, how each night he partook of his clean, black sleep. Reader, do I border on the obscene? Have I forced you to give up your sympathies in exchange for more lurid curiosities? I am reminded of a trip I took long ago to a small city in Mexico. How carefully I listened to a man tell us the only means by which to recognize real silver was from a number stamped on the jewelry's side. Only later, arriving home, would I realize that lowly guide contrived to have the van arrive at stores run by his friends, bracelets and rings sweating off their dull green circlets onto my wrists, my fingers. Counterfeit. This is war. This is two spiders a child's dropped into a jar, scrabbling at the glass and flinging their webs, each so intent on killing the other, the fact they are both trapped has ceased to matter. Oh, blood, blood, blood. Shall I, reader, be a tad more explicit? Here's my problem. I must be very, very careful with what I say. He always complained that I caused a scene. Even at the courthouse, after I paid the processing fee, when asked whether he could spare some change to pay the parking attendant, he growled, "Keep your voice down," as if it had jumped on his legs. To speak of money in public is impolite, or so his mother had taught him. His wisdom tooth was rotting, the infection was liable to spread to his brain, and he was too poor to have it extracted. He stated this over and over, slowly, as if he believed I was having trouble understanding English, or had suddenly turned mentally deficient. A problem. If you can't trust people, you can't trust books, since books are people and people are books. Shall I ask him to sign it? Beautiful dreamer, may all your beginnings be true beginnings. You think this unseemly for me to confide? Reader, don't mistake me for someone who gives a shit, or your bride. I have no loyalty, and I have no pride.